Okay, B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh V'Natzliach. Tonight I want to share you, I think the title would be The Gra on Current Events. Current events, I mean what's happening right now even in Eretz Israel. Our connection to Eretz Israel and really Jewish history, the past 200 years of Jewish history. First of all, for the ones that you know are not familiar with the Gra Gaon Vilna, Gaon Rabbeinu Eliyahu Vilna, he passed away 216 years ago. And he lived 78 years. He, without any doubt, was the greatest Jewish leader and scholar that we have had for a long, long time. Gaon Vilna was considered like in the same level, like the Tanaim and Amoraim. You know, he was an exceptional, accepted by the totality of Klal Israel, Sfaradim, Ashkenazim, everybody as the Gaon HaChasid Vilna. So as I said, Gaon passed away 216 years ago. And a lot of things that we see happening in the Jewish history, in our, like in the past, you know, if you take the Jewish history, like in the past 2,000 years, the past 200 years, there is an unbelievable change and revolution, right? And you know, we are going to go through some of the, you know, comments of Gaon, even though that everything is from Scripture, right? And we are going to see that, you know, as we know, one of the greatnesses of our Scripture, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, is that they are prophecies. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, through the Nevi'im or directly himself, has given us prophecies of what's going to happen in the future. So first, let me start from one pasuk from Tehillim. And then I'm going to just very briefly go through with you 4 psukim from the Torah. Okay, so altogether, we are going to be just going through 5 verses, 5 psukim tonight. 1 from Tehillim, and 4 from Chumash, from Torah. The pasuk from Tehillim, it comes from Tehillim Ayin Vav, Psalms 76. Over there, right, David HaMelech says, there is a pasuk, Vayhi Beshalem Suko Umeonato Betzion. Right? This is what the pasuk says in Tehillim Ayin Vav, Psalms 76. Vayhi Beshalem Suko Umeonato Betzion. In this pasuk, David HaMelech talks about Sukkah and talks about Tzion. What's the common denominator between Sukkah and Tzion? Gaon says that here David HaMelech is giving us an unbelievable directive before Mashiach comes. David HaMelech says the same way that according to Halacha, when you want to build a Sukkah, it has to be ta'aseh velo min ha'asur. You have to build a sukkah from scratch. You can't if you have like a mountain of hay, and you come and you carve a sukkah. This is not kasher. You need to build a sukkah l'shem sukkah. First to build the walls and then put a schach. Otherwise, it's not kasher. Gaon says that David HaMelech is saying that Tzion, it's the same thing. You can't just wait that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring you to Eretz Israel. You have to pick up and go. You have to go to Eretz Israel and to build Tzion from scratch. The same way, are you following me, right? The same way by Sukkah. Ta'aseh v'lo min ha'asur. You need to get up and build the Sukkah, right? The same way with Eretz Israel. You can't wait till, okay, Moshiach is going to come and take us to Eretz Israel. You have to pick yourself up and go to Eretz Israel and build Eretz Israel. So Zionism didn't start with Herzl. Gaon passed away 216 years ago. And he himself, you know, he also had plans to you know, it didn't, there is a mystery why it didn't happen. But his Talmidim, if you just, you know, go through the history of our coming back to Eretz Israel, you see that, you know, over like in almost 250 years ago, the Talmidim of Gaon, the students of Gaon, they were the first ones that, you know, they followed their Rabbi. The Gaon said, they picked themselves up, and they came to Eretz Israel, and they started building Eretz Israel, whether it's Yerushalayim, whether it's Petach Tikva, a lot of the founders were the Talmidim of Gaon Vilna. And Gaon said, there's another pasuk I'm not going to be talking about that, that's a whole book that the Gaon has, Kol HaTor Nishma Ba'artzenu, Kol HaTor Nishir HaShirim, so it says Tor, Tafresh is 600. 600, it's 74 years ago, right? This is already when you had already Talmidim of the Gaon, and a lot of them, they with very difficult, a lot of difficulties. They were really the pioneers. They were the ones that, with many, they made it to Eretz Israel and started building up Eretz Israel. So this is first. This was a pasuk in Tehillim. Now, Gaon, as he taught to Reb Chaim Volozhin, his Talmid, he told us that Torah, the 5 books, Chamisha Chumshei Torah, you have the entire history of humanity in Torah, right? It's, I'm not going to go into details. Gaon says that Bereshit, it's the first 2,000 years of creation. Till Vayichulu, it's 1,000, right? So Bereshit, it's the first 2,000 years. Then, Shemot is going to be the year 3,000. Vayikra, it's going to be 4,000, right? And then you have, Bamidbar, it's 5. And Devarim is now. Devarim, in other words, Sefer Devarim, please follow me, carefully. That Sefer Devarim, it's now we have 5,000 are gone. The 5,000 that are gone is still Bamidbar. So Sefer Devarim that we are now, this is now 774, right? Of this last millennium, which is, we have passed it, and Gaon says every verse in Devarim, it's parallel, right, to 1 year of this last millennium. Okay? So, again, we are now in Sefer Devarim of creation, and, okay, so let's forget about the 5,000 years, and 774, now it's Tafshin Ayin Dalet, into Devarim. If you follow this, you're going to see wonderful, wonderful things. Again, I want to make this short because to make it that we're going to have more viewers, hopefully, when it's publicized. But I'm going to dwell with that. Please keep that in mind. So we are going to be focusing in Sefer Devarim, because this is our present millennium. And let's go with some contemporary events, faithful events about the Jewish history and the world history, and see how beautifully everything is there in the Pesukim. If we are not going to go from the beginning, let's focus, right? So if we said, Pasuk 5700, in other words, the 700th Pasuk in Devarim, 700 is Tafshin, right? In Hebrew, with the Gematriot, it's Tafshin. This is the pasuk that we have in the Torah. Is the following. If you count it, you have to realize the Torah in its entirety has 5,845 psukim, right? So the pasuk 5,700. In other words, the 700th pasuk in Devarim, it's going to be in chapter Kaftet 29. It's in Parashat Nitzavim, right? In the Cheshbon that I told you that the Gaon says every parasha, Rabbi Gaon says Devarim. We are talking about this millennium. Every parasha is 100 years. Nitzavim and Vayelech is considered one parasha. That's why you have the entire 1,000. So again, the first pasuk we're going to see, it's the pasuk 5,700, which the 700th pasuk in Devarim is the following. It's Devarim Kaftet, in the 29th chapter of Devarim, pasuk Kaf Vav and Kaf Zayin. I'm going to read to you this pasukim. It's talking about, right? The Torah tells us, Vayichar af Hashem ba'aretz ahi. It's talking about Hashem's anger. lehavi aleha, to bring on it, on the land and on the Jewish nation, et kol hakelala haketuva b'sefer hazeh, to bring all the curses of this sefer, of this book on them, on the Jews. Guess what year is this? This is Holocaust. This is Tafshin, the year Tafshin, which is the Hebrew, it is like the year 5700. It's talking about Holocaust. And it says, Vayichar af Hashem ba'aretz hahi. This is a Kadosh Baruch. You see, these are the codes, etc. This is Gaon. You just follow the Psukim. This is the Pasuk that it comes out, Tafshin, 5700, exactly. It coincides with Holocaust. Vayichar af Hashem ba'aretz hahi, lehavi aleha et kol hakelala haketuva b'sefer hazeh, to bring on our nation et kol hakelala, all the curses that are written in this sefer, specifically Parashat Kitavot. And it says, Vayiteshem Hashem al admatam be'af v'hanistarot Hashem elokenu. We know a lot of people say, where was Hashem in Holocaust? There is hanistarot. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be hiding himself. This is, right, Pasuk number 1. You go, Rabotai, 8 more Psukim. It becomes 5,708. The Hebrew date is Tashach. Tafshin Chet. What happened on Tafshin Chet? Medinat Israel, Atzmaut, the Israeli independence, was in the year 5,708. Tashach. The Pasuk says the following, right? In the same way, the Pasuk Hey. Now we are in Lamed Hey. Chapter Lamed, Pasuk Hey. Vehevi'acha Hashem Elokecha El haaretz asher yarshu avotecha. The Pasuk says, Hashem is going to bring you, right, to the land, Asher Yashu Avotecha, land of your fathers. Virishta. You're going to inherit that land. You're going to re-inherit that land. Taf Shin Chet. This is the Israeli independence. And Vehetivcha Vehirdecha Ma'avotecha. Hashem is going to do you good, right, better than your ancestors, because Be'ezrat Hashem, we hope, this is Reshit Tzimechat Geulatenu. This is our final coming back to Eretz Yisrael. There is not going to be a destruction of Beit Shelishi, of the third temple. That's why it says Vehitivcha Vehirbecha Ma'avotecha. Hashem is going to do you favors more than your fathers, in that sense that this coming back, right, is going to be Be'ezrat Hashem forever. And it says, Umal Hashem Elokechat Levavcha V'Kilvav Zarecha. And Hashem is telling us that there is going to be a huge coming back, Ba'alet Shuvah. Coming back, people coming back to Torah and Mitzvot, the phenomena that we have been experiencing more than anything after the next Pasuk that we have. Rabotai, if we continue another 19 Psukim, from 5708 we come to 5727. Now we are in Lamed Aleph. We went to Parashat Nitzavim, right? If you just counting you understand. We are counting. Every pasuk is 1 year. 5700 was the Holocaust. 8 years later, it's Medinat Israel. That's when you had we saw the pasuk 8 pasukim later. Now, if you count more, continue with the new state. You come to 5727, which the Hebrew date is Tafshin Kaf Zayin. What happened then? Milchemet Shesht Hayamim. That's a 6-day war. 6-day war that Baruch Hashem Be'ezrat HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Israeli army defeated a few, right, in 6 hours or 6 days. A few of the big neighbor, of the enemies of Israel. Look at the pasuk. The pasuk that comes from Tafshin Kaf Zayin, which is the 6-day war, reads the following. It's the Parashat Vayelechna. Ve'asa Hashem lahem.
Which pasuk?
This is, we are now Lamed Aleph, in the chapter Lamed Aleph, pasuk. This is, we are talking about Pasuk Dalet, right? Sheni, Pasuk Dalet, beginning of Vayelech, right? It says, "Ve'asa Hashem lahem ka'asher asa." Hakadosh Baruch Hu is going to do to them ka'asher asa leSichon uleOg malkei ha'emori uleArtzam Hashem ishmid otam. Hashem is going to do to them the same what He did that He destroyed the Malkei ha'emori, Sichon, Og, etc. When Bnei Yisrael came out of Mitzrayim. This is exactly what happened in the year, right, in Chodesh Tamim, the 6th year war, right? Exactly the pasuk that is talking about this is Taf Shin Kaf Zayin. It's amazing. 727. That's when the war in Chodesh Tamim took place. So, and as I said, Parashat Yisayim Vayelech, it's talking about big teshuvah. It's talking that about repentance and coming back to Hashem. And this is phenomenal, what is happening, right, since, especially after Milchemet Shtayimim, since 6th Day War, this movement of Baalei Teshuvah, I remember when I was a student in Israel, student in Hebrew U, in the Israeli Knesset, you had maybe 7 or 8 religious members of Knesset. Now, 1/3 of members of Knesset are Shomer Shabbat. Out of 120, 40 of them from different parties, they are Shomer Shabbat. This is this phenomena that, in Nitzayim Vayelech, it's talking about Teshuvah, that there is going to be a massive movement of Baalei Teshuvah. Till now, Baruch Hashem, everything gets upbeat. We saw Holocaust. We saw the independence of Israel. We saw Milchemet Shtayimim. Now let's turn to the last pasuk. What I told you till now, it's all from the Gaon, right? The last thing that I'm going to share with you, the source. I mean, it's continuing with the same style of Gaon, with the pasukim. I just continued it, and what I'm going to be sharing with you, it's really, I saw it in a sefer called Ma'ayan HaEmunah, and it's unbelievable insight that I relate to it closely and personally. If we continue, it comes like, if you go with the set from 5:7:27, you go like in another 40 psukim. We go like to Parashat Ha'azinu. I think it's 42 psukim, if I'm not mistaken. Right, it comes to pasuk 5:7:7:2 in Torah, or 7:7:2 in Dvarim. It's really Tafshin Ayin Bet. You're talking about mamash what's happening now. What is the pasuk that it's parallel to what's happening now? Right? That brings us to Parashat Ha'azinu. Right? And the pasuk reads the following: Parashat Ha'azinu, and the address is Lamed Bet, in other words, chapter 32 in Devarim. And the pasuk is Kaf Aleph, 21. Listen to this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Hem kin'uni belo el ki asuni b'havlehem va'ani akni'em belo am begoy naval achisem. What is the pasuk talking about? Just to refresh your memories, again, I heard this myself when I was a student studying at Hebrew U in Israel. When Golda Meir was the Israeli Prime Minister, right? Unfortunately, I missed Milchemet Yom Kippur. I had gone back to Iran to visit my parents, and I got stuck there. So when I came back, so then PLO had started. PLO, Yasser Arafat, Machshamo, Palestine organization, whatever. So I heard Golda Meir saying in Knesset, I says, what is this? I'm a Palestinian, Palestinian nation, and I'm cousin. There is no nation like that. What is it? All of a sudden they come and make up a new nation? These are the words of Golda Meir. Ha'ama Palestinai, there is no nation like that. To understand the pasuk, and unfortunately how accurate this pasuk has, let me just teach you another unfortunate, very, very saddening chapter in our history. That when we said in 1948, was the Israeli independence. So at the time of the Israeli independence, they wrote the Megillat HaAtzmaut. This Megillat HaAtzmaut, the manifesto of our independence, a lot of us, we have this framed maybe in our living rooms. We are very Ohavetzion, Persian Jews especially, we are Zionists par excellence. So this is Megillat HaAtzmaut. Megillat HaAtzmaut, it's like, this is the proclamation that so this Megillat HaAtzmaut, it took some time for this to be drafted and for everybody to sign it. There was a big dispute. It's I'm embarrassed to discuss this point, that there was a whole discussion over there whether to write the name of God there or not. You had the communists and you had all the secularists. They said, no, we don't want any of that. We don't want the name of God to be written in Megillat HaAtzmaut. Israel is a secular state. We are not going to agree, we are not going to sign it if you put the name of God in there. This is unfortunate, this is history. But then you had the Rabbi and the religious delegates. What? Even in America, in God we trust, etc. We have come back to Eretz Yisrael. Our only right to this land is from the Torah. If not for the Torah, and you see, by the way, this is something that Menachem Begin, Zichrono Livracha, went to the United Nations when they said Zionism is racism. He took a Torah to the United Nations, and with this thick accent, he said, ladies and gentlemen, the right that we have on this land is from this book that you believe in it. It's from the Bible. Ben Gurion. You see, Menachem Begin was a Ma'ami, right? He was much more traditional. That's what he did. Ben Gurion wasn't. But yet, Ben Gurion, this is, you could see, Va'adat Pil, when the British came in Eretz Yisrael in 1917, there was all this fight between the Jews and the Arabs. So the British, they made a committee called Va'adat Pil, the Pil committee. So over there, this British thing asks Ben Gurion, he says, what, the Arabs were here before you. What right do you have on this land? So Ben Gurion brings the Torah, he says, our right to this land is from the Bible. So this guy says that you don't believe in it. He says, I don't, but my people do. That's what Ben Gurion said. Right? So, but you see, so when they were drafting the Megillat HaAtzmaut, so there was a whole debate whether to write the name of God or not. Finally, they made a compromise. If you look towards the bottom, the last, I think, paragraph before the signatures, it says, Mitoch bitachon betzur Yisrael vegoalo. With trust in Tzur Yisrael vegoalo. They don't mention the name of God. Tzur Yisrael vegoalo. Tzur Yisrael, the rock of Israel and its redeemer. So then the secularists would say it means the Jewish nation. Oh, our army. The frum people, the religious people say, no, Tzur Yisrael is, it's in Tanakh, it's one of the nicknames of Hashem. So here they compromised. Okay? Now with that introduction, let's go back to the pasuk that I read to you. Hem kin'uni belo el. Hashem says, my children, I brought them back to Eretz Yisrael. They angered me below El. They don't want the name El. They don't want to mention the name of God, right, in the Megillat HaAtzmaut. Hem kin'uni below El. Ki asuni behavlehem. They angered me with their heaven. Heaven is like nothingness, and Va'ani akni'em below am. So I'm going to take revenge from them below am, with a nation that is not a nation. Yes, Mrs. Golda Meir, you're right. There is no Palestinian nation. But you say Lo El, you don't want to put the name of God in Megillat HaAtzmaut, so I'm going to take revenge from you with whom? Below Am. Below Am, that a nation that is not a nation. Begoy Naval Achisem. I'm going to make you angry with Goy Naval. I don't know how in English to translate. Naval means like, low lives. We see what's going on. We see wild, right? We see what's going on, right? Rabotai, this is history, and this is what's going on, right? Why am I bringing this? This is 3 weeks before with Hashem, we hope to Tisha B'Av. I heard Gedolim and said Mashiach is around the corner. But you see, it has to happen, like what happened today. I came to tears. there was a video of some of these Golani soldiers that had come home, like for a recess. They were singing together and dancing, right? Right? That whoever has belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to be fearful, right? It was amazing. I had tears in my eyes. But you see, this is it. We have to know it's all from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's all from Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu should protect all our soldiers one by one. But we have to realize, without Torah, without Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we don't have really any right on this land. We have to see what's going on here. It's all from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you see from that yes, as Gaon said, we had to go back and to build it. Right? That's what the Talmidim of the Gaon did. We saw the Chori Af. We saw the anger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holocaust. We saw 8 Pesukim later how, right, the Torah predicted that we are going to have, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I bring you back to your land. We saw Milchemet Shayamim, the miracles HaKadosh Baruch Hu did with us. And we see now, Hem kin'uni belo el, ki asuni b'havlehem. But Be'ezrat Hashem, we should cause HaKadosh Baruch Hu the kas, the anger to be removed by believing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, keeping his mitzvot. As I said, these parashiyot, they all talk about Teshuvah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, when we do Teshuvah ma'ahava, coming closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the coming of Mashiach is really imminent. We hope Be'ezrat Hashem is going to happen ASAP. Thank you for listening.